Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related business, marketing, and social media. And at the very least, hits you with real, honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business. Hey guys, it's Pat here from Monaco Nail Academy and Pat of Beauty, and today I am joined by
Mel here from Jungle Nails.
and
Kia ora koutou, it's Becca here from Nails by Becca.
amazing. And just a reminder before we get started to use our codes for 10% off all courses. You can pick any of these codes. They don't stack, as far as I know. But hey, we will get a kickback from whoever you choose. And this is how we support the production of the podcast. So please do buy our courses. My code is PATSITIVE.
Mine's just Jungle Nails.
And mine is Becca.
Yay! Easy to remember, I think. So before we get stuck into the dangers of undercharging, let's revisit last week's lesson. Okay, Mel, what did we cover last week?
Last week, we talked about setting up your space and keeping the 5 senses in mind when you do that.
Yeah, we talked about a lot. Becca, do you have anything in mind when we talk about the 5 senses? Anything you prioritize?
Is there anything I prioritize? That's a great question. Probably I love to listen to music. I find it really awkward if it's quiet, and I need my music to have like words in it, like love the sort of plinky plonky like spa music if I'm chilling, like getting a massage or something. But I think in the vibe in my salon I've tried to create is a bit more like fun, upbeat, relaxed. Finding the right playlist has always been really important to me, and I'm really liking the one I'm using at the moment. And it's like 40 something hours long, so I'm not listening to the same song all day, every day, which is great.
Whoa, 40 hours. Wow. Okay, so it sounds like
Yeah.
sound is a big deal for you.
Yeah.
Love, that's awesome. Okay, so moving on from the 5 senses and setting up your space, this week we are chatting all things dangers of undercharging. Da-dun. Really need that sound effect. Da-dun.
Oh, absolutely.
I think a lot of us will be like, yeah, undercharging. That's a big deal, but easy to say. But we do need clients now. And there is this thinking or there's the myth that if you charge more than the mall, then no one will come. And my notes say, because this is from Penny. Penny's a professional. I mean, I'm a professional too, but she's the most professional in the sense that she's been here for like 20 years or something. So she says the single biggest misconception among beauty professionals is that if you charge more than the mall, no one will come to me. But actually, and I need to tell this to myself as well, you are the person shouting to the world how good you are. Until the word of mouth train gets rolling, you are literally the only person telling people how good you are. So don't tell them you're on par with a cut price small salon. Such a good point. One of the students at Monaco said, "It doesn't matter how much I tell people I use quality products and let them know about the uncool things that mall salons do. They do not want to pay higher prices than what they pay in the malls. So my prices are around what the malls charge. I know this is not right, but I also have self-esteem to deal with as well. And I never think I'm good enough." Okay, so Jan has two of the biggest problems that Penny has seen in the beauty professionals. One is low confidence, and the other thing is wrong target. So many women in this industry have low confidence. Say I if that's you. I.
Hi.
But one thing, if I wanted a full set of nails with nail art and a lovely massage, I know for certain that I wouldn't just go to the mall. Like, there's no way. Somebody else would, but I wouldn't. And as a consumer, because I'm thinking, okay, it costs the same, therefore you're probably going to have equal standards, equal quality, equal hygiene. And for me, I don't really want the same level of quality or standards as what's in the mall salons. So, even if it's by 10%, you do need to be a higher price bracket than competitors of a lower quality. If you match the prices of cut price salons or like chop shops or whatever, you might get a couple of their clients, but few of them will stay because they also value convenience, and cut price salons are usually more convenient. So that group of people who prioritize price, like low price and convenience, ooh, we gotta let them go. What are your thoughts on that? This is all from Penny. What do you think?
So yeah, I think that last bit you said, Pat, reminds me of the thing that it took a long time for me to process this, but like not all money is good money. Um,
Ooh, tell
I
me more.
find we talk a lot about trying to attract your ideal client in salon success, right? Um, and I think generally the kinds of people who are looking for very cheap nail services, and this includes if you discount them regularly, your base price might be higher, but you often run like really cut price specials. Those
Mm.
types of people are always going to be looking for the next good deal. So they're not likely to be loyal clients. And in my experience, they're often the type of people who aren't necessarily the ones who are going to like respect your policies. They're not going to rebook. They're not going to show up on time. They're the kinds of clients that suit those lower price salons and that gives them what they want. And when they find you and they're like, oh my God, they're using amazing products and I get a really good experience and it's cheap, like, amazing. But then when you get to the point where your confidence is built up enough for you to want to put up your prices as you should, they're going to be going to the next salon down the road where they can find a cheaper deal.
Yeah, that's such a good point because I know some
Mm,
people, they know better, they know that they shouldn't, but
mm,
they'll roll the dice anyway, whether it's lashes
yeah.
or nails. They're like, well,
Yep.
if it's cheap, I'm just going to go ahead and pay for it because it's not a priority for them. And are those really the people that we want to be coming to us? Because then there's no loyalty. They're just trying to chase the lowest dollar.
Exactly.
We can't rely on them anyway. So yeah.
Mm.
Mel, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I agree. And I know I've seen a thing online where it's got like time, quality, and price, and you can never have all three. You have to decide if you want it to be low cost and quick, then the quality's not going to be there. But if you want it done quickly and high quality, it's not going to be cheap. Like you can never get everything. So yeah, you have to decide what's your priority.
Mm. I'd almost like
Clients have to
swap,
decide.
yeah, like swap out speed in that triangle for like the experience that you get, like I think
Yeah.
I know I'm never going to be a really quick nail tech, but I try to give my clients a really good, like communicate with them,
Mm.
listen to them, care for their nails, all of that kind of thing, eh?
Yeah, you can never. And I know I've heard Penny say that we go to McDonald's over and over and over again because it's fast and convenience. We don't go there because it's amazing food. Like we're willing to sacrifice that to fill our other need. So those people that are willing to sacrifice like hygiene and quality, they're just fulfilling their need of cheap.
Mm.
Like you're never going to get everything.
The other problem with undercharging is that you potentially are devaluing your peers, right? Like if you are providing a private nail tech experience with good quality products at a really cheap price, you're effectively paying some of your clients' bill to get their nails done. You're taking a pay cut so that you can pay for some of the stranger's luxury service, right? And the problem with that is that it creates this like expectation in the market that that's what that service should be cost. Like I'm sure you've had this, Mel, where someone will like say to you, "Oh, well, so and so only charges this much for
Yeah.
that," you know,
And what
and it's like,
okay?
well, exactly. And my answer is always, "Great, go see them." You
Cool.
know?
See you down the street. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, if those people, and you often see it with, very new nail techs or even ones that are like self-trained and things like that, where they have bought like a kit and they're just really excited to do nails. And I did this too. I'm saying this completely, I did this too when I first trained and set up my salon. I just loved doing nails and I just wanted clients in the door and I was really excited to do it. I would have done it for free, I loved it. The problem with that over time, and particularly as you want to turn this into your job, like not just something that you do for fun, but something that you actually use to pay the bills and put food on the table, is that you can end up burning yourself out because you're working your ass off and you're not earning anywhere close to a decent wage or even like a minimum wage. And that over time can make you burn out and make you fall out of love with what you do. And the reason we all got into this industry is because we were passionate about it, right? Like we do it because we love it. And if you're grinding and grinding and grinding, and at the end of the week you don't have much to show for it, it's often like it can be heartbreaking. So you need to do yourself that gift, I guess, of charging enough to make it not only like sustainable, but also like, for you to feel good in yourself and in your work, right?
Make it a living.
Yeah.
I was not charging enough, and I just ended up not. When people would book, I'd be like, oh, because I just didn't want to do it for what I was getting.
Yeah, I've been there too, Mel, for sure.
Yeah, so I think we all been there. And once you start charging a client this undercharged rate, it's really hard to then justify getting them to pay the normal rate or whatever.
Yeah.
Even if they come at the first time and you say, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it, just do it for 40 today. The next time you charge them the normal price, they're going to be like, but why? What's different? Like,
yeah, because you start like you see your clients regularly, you get to know them really well, you talk about your lives, because you've got an hour, 1 or 2 hours sitting there holding hands with not a lot else to do. So you do start to form this really like personal connection to them. And so in a way, your brain starts that like fight or flight kicks in when you've got to put your prices up of like, oh no, they're going to be so mad at me.
yeah.
But unfortunately, that's just that you're running a business. Like that's just something you have to like be like, come on, primal brain, like we're fine. We're not, this isn't going to kill us. It's scary, but it's actually a really normal thing that businesses have to do. But because we have such a personal business and it's just us making all of these decisions, we don't have a boss to like blame it on. It's scary. It's scary, but it's so important. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you won't be there to do their nails at all, right? It's like you're giving them the choice of still coming to you for a slightly higher price tag.
That's got me thinking about my prices. I'm like, oh.
It comes back to that reverse engineering. Like if we put our prices up and we lose a client, it doesn't matter because we can afford to lose that one client because our other numbers have compensated for it.
Yeah.
It comes back to that reverse engineering. Like if we put our prices up and we lose a client, it doesn't matter because we can afford to lose that one client because our other numbers have compensated for it.
Yeah. Ooh. And I have noticed that there's been points at which I've increased my prices and I've almost had like over a couple of months like a full turnover of clients. But the ones that came in were attracted to my higher prices because it implied higher quality, right? And they're the kinds of clients that I wanted.
And those other ones just wander off to the mall or wherever.
Like, yeah, exactly. And it is so scary. Like I viscerally like remember that feeling of, oh my God, I've lost a client. Like, what am I going to do? But then a new one just replaces it. It's just the circle of life.
What do you guys think about, a lot of people have had to raise their prices recently because of increased costs, inflation, cost of living and whatever. And people keep saying we're in a recession, we're about to go into recession. How does that factor into your pricing and what you're doing every day?
I don't know if it does factor into my pricing, but it definitely makes me more understanding when people will let me know nails are just not a priority for me right now. Like I can't afford to keep getting them done. Like I think that sort of makes me more understanding of that. And I don't go down this rabbit hole of, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Like they hate me, I'm hopeless, all that stuff that women do. Because I kind of just understand that it is like a luxury service. It's not a priority.
And that's quite brave of your clients to say that to you, because for a lot of people, that's a really awkward thing to have to say. So, I've had people just sort of fade off because they probably don't want to have that conversation, right? People are facing increased costs and you do have to be, I don't think it's our business. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think our job is to cover our costs. Like, our cost of living has gone up too, That's our job as a business owner. That's what we have control over and responsibility for. Other people's budgets aren't really our concern or our problem. Like we've got to price like sustainably for ourselves. That's what we have control over. And then the other flip side of that is communicating the value of what we do. So why should nails be a priority? Like I always say to clients, if they're talking about how expensive things are. I'm like, oh, I know it's so hard. Like, people aren't being able to do their holidays, like big stuff. But if you can't have this hour every 3 weeks for yourself, like, what
Mm.
have you been working for? You need these little treats. Like, this is really important. To keep making this time for this. Like you try and I guess, yeah, like remind them why what you do is important, and then they'll make their decisions from there. And like you said, no, you don't obviously begrudge anybody anything. Like,
I think that
Mm.
ties in really well with, so like, let's say group A are those clients who are just chasing after the cheapest service, right? But then there's
mm,
group B. And Becca, you were talking about it earlier that you increased your prices, and then some people showed up because they were attracted to the higher prices. So that,
yeah,
let's call that group B. And so group
mm,
B will seek out people, anyone except a cut price salon, because they
mm,
want to come to someone with a higher price, because then they can, there are all these assumptions baked in to higher
mm,
prices, right?
yeah,
So we will assume, okay, they have a higher disposable income than the first group we let go. But if we had been still trying to chase group A, we don't have space for group B because we're booked up
mm,
with all the group A people. But also,
mm,
even if they don't have a higher disposable income, they do prioritize their spending differently. And Group B have the financial ability to keep coming back to us. Whereas, like we were saying earlier, the people who are just chasing the lowest prices, they'll just go to whoever has a deal. Those people who will just go to Groupon and look for, like, oh, it's 50% off. Oh, it's 25% off. And then we might think, oh, yeah, we got them in the door. Now they're going to keep coming back. But actually, will they? I know I've done it so many times where I bought myself a little treat or bought someone a little treat off Groupon or Grab One or something. And it's literally just like a one time thing because it was cheap that time. But that doesn't mean I'm ever going to go back. If
mm,
anything, if it's something that's important to me, like I remember for my lashes, I didn't really care if there was a special or not. It was just, I wanted to get that done, therefore I'm going to pay for it. And that's who we want to be trying to attract to our salons, not the people who are just like, who's the cheapest? I'll go to them. They can go to the cheapest salon, but we don't have to be that cheap salon.
Honestly, message you and just say how much. No, like, hey, I love your work or anything. It's just like, how much? And that's them straight away. So I usually just let the auto reply handle them and off the top.
Auto reply, have the price list ready. Like,
yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They've
so
let you
fun.
know straight away what their priority is.
Exactly, exactly. And I think sitting with that discomfort of being like, oh, I'm not the cheapest, but I'm good. And having
Mhm.
that confidence to, or even on the days that you don't feel like it, having the confidence to still
Yeah.
show up to work and be like, no, I'm good. Like, it's fine.
Like, you're worth it.
Exactly. And it's hard. It is definitely hard sometimes.
I think like I get really stressed out because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, am I worth the price because I'm so new? And it's like, oh, maybe I should charge less because I'm not fast, that sort of thing. And then I actually did a survey with people who could be like ideal type clients and stuff. Like they
Mm,
kind of met like the client avatar or whatever. And I was
mm,
asking like on the polls, I was like, if I am slow, like what would you do? And one of them was like, most of them would be, I think the options were like, I wouldn't book with you if you're too slow. And the other option was like, give me a discount. And then the last option, which I was expecting nobody to pick, was if the vibes are good, it doesn't matter. And then when I looked at the results, pretty much everyone, with the exception of a couple people who either wanted a discount or who wouldn't book at all, they were like, as long as the vibes are good, like I'm
mm,
happy with that. And then like they would even message and be like, even if it takes a while, this is me time. And so I'm happy to
mm,
make it even if it takes longer, as long as the quality's great and we're vibing. Actually
mm,
that's worth the money for me. It's not about me getting
mm.
out the door as fast as possible. And it's like, oh, okay, this is like really good market research.
Yeah.
Yay!
I think we
That's
get so
awesome.
caught up on time being text. I know I do. I'm constantly like, what's the time? What's the time? And they're like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm relaxing. This is my time away from my kids, or, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
finished work. Like, don't worry about it. And then usually you'll look and go, oh, that wasn't really long at all. Like,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get better at like I guess anticipating your
yeah.
timings the more you do it as well, eh?
I think undercharging too, like I know this was definitely a thing for me, not just the base price, but art. I was so
Yeah.
bad at just being like, oh, I'll just quickly do it, it's fine, and then not charging them, or it turned into like a full-on set and then not
Yeah.
charging them for the right amount or the
Yeah.
level. I'm terrible at it still. I'm bad at it still.
I added like, because I have 3 tiers of nail art and they're like 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes kind of thing. And have in my last price increase added like a $5, 5 minute kind of little bit of art that I can basically do in there. If they show up to their appointment, having not booked the 15 minutes for art, but they're like, oh, can you just put a little, I'm like, yeah, sweet as, I can do that. And it's just that little, I still get it taken that little bit more for that extra time and skill and product that I'm using for that exact reason now, you know.
I am so bad for that. I'll just be like, yeah, flat rate. And then I'll be like, oh, but while you're here, I'm just gonna do like art and stuff so that it's on
Yeah,
my
well, because we're
socials.
excited. We
Yeah,
want
but
to
it's
try the
like
new thing we just saw, right?
I know, but it's like actually
Yeah.
they should be paying. And it's like, oh, okay. Oh, I better get this into my skull. So people listening to the podcast, we are all learning here, okay? Another thing, if we get rid of Group A and we focus on Group B also prioritize quality.
Mm.
And that means that they value themselves. So their nails or their brows, their skins, their lashes. When I say skins, they only have one skin. That's their priority.
I love it.
And, they become our regulars. And yeah, so that's good.
I agree. Because, of course, like, the other thing that I keep forgetting is that, like, because we're experts in what we do, we understand all the intricacies. We understand that this bottle costs this much, and I'm using this really nice file, and I'm using really good quality products. But clients don't see that necessarily, and we see the difference between a rush job at a cut price salon versus the work that we do in the details, right? But clients don't always see that. So I think just going back to that idea of being like, oh, but am I good enough? Yeah, like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that I think that the little things that we beat ourselves up on from these sets, our clients don't actually necessarily notice. So
Yeah.
we are actually way better than those salons, mainly because, in my view, mainly because of the experience. They're not rushed and passed from person to person, and they see us using clean tools and stuff. But again, that goes back to us communicating our value too, like explaining why our products are premium and come with a premium price tag, and why those other salons products are less premium, right? Like all that stuff. Yeah. So there's two sides, like educating our clients, but also us, that whole like bar of what is good enough. I
Mhm.
think we often hold too high.
With
Good
Monaco,
enough for premium prices.
we're quite high after
Mm.
training with Monaco. There's, Monaco
Yeah.
standards are really high.
Yeah.
Other places are not. So
Yeah.
that education, then if we look at a set of nails and there's a bit of flooding, we then go, okay, well, that's going to cause lifting and that nail's going to come off. And this is this, where clients
Yeah.
just go, oh, I'll just pick that off. It's all good. They don't have
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
also like in terms of safety and hygiene, right? Like you talked about it a little bit, Becca, but like I've heard from so many different people just casually talking to them, letting them know I'm studying nails or something. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I went to the mall salon and then this happened. And then they'll tell me about all the times that someone drilled a hole into their nails or
horror
cut
story.
them and they're bleeding and
Yeah.
then acted
Yep.
like nothing happened. And it's like, excuse me, what?
It's not normal.
Yeah, it's not normal. But then the thing is, they keep coming back. So it's
Mm.
like,
They don't know. Like we
yeah,
have to tell them.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so maybe we need to do our job and actually tell people about us so that they know that they should be expecting more from their services
Mm.
and not come out of it
Yeah.
bleeding. And because we don't want anyone to be injured in on this journey of feeling beautiful. You don't want people to get injured for that. But people are just like, oh, but beauty is pain. Well, not necessarily.
I've even had people
Absolutely.
say, oh, you're so gentle. Like, and I'm like, that's how it should be. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or like I had a client who was like, oh, you care so much about the client experience. And it's like,
Aw.
I should. And then they'll be like, yeah, one time, yeah, my lash tech just cut off my lashes. Like,
What?
and I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
That's amazing.
And so, yeah, they just tell you all sorts of horror stories, and you're like,
Yeah, but like it's nothing. No.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but I'll go back because it's cheaper. And I'm like, okay, I don't want you to come back to me because I don't want people to think that I'm doing that to you.
Yeah.
On that note, so we know we talked about how the right people will become
Mm.
regulars, but if they don't, we can go back to, if a client that values quality does not return, then we can look at what we can do better. So did we solve their
Yeah.
problem? Um, do we need to be faster? Do we need to be better? Or is it really nothing to do with us? Maybe it's just to do with them. Maybe they wanted somewhere closer, or our times were
Mm.
inconvenient. So sometimes clients do slip through the cracks. We'll never attain 100%. But ideally 90%, ideally should be able to return in 2 weeks, or at least they'll be like, "Ooh, now I have a special occasion," because maybe they're not about nails or lashes or whatever it is. Then, but if they come back to us every time they have a special occasion, that's at least a good thing. So one of our students said that their biggest struggle was comparing herself to other salons and trying to overcome the mentality of they're close but also cheaper. So if I charge what I should, I won't get clients. So that's a really interesting thing to be thinking about.
Mm.
And Penny made a note. She said that she would never let someone come near her with gel polish for less than $65. And I'm like, oh, now I'm thinking about my prices. And
Mm.
you're probably the same with your specialty. If you charge even $1 more than this other salon, then there's the assumption that you're better. So if price is your priority, you might choose the other salon because it's cheaper. But if your priority is quality, then you'll pick the more expensive one, because you'll be like, yeah, like how many times have we seen on Facebook Marketplace that somebody will be offering like $40 lashes, $20 nails, and then you're just looking at it like, I don't know, like, yeah, okay, someone might book with them, but you like, I personally will look at that and go, "That's kinda suspicious." Like,
I'm
Yeah.
even laughing like
Yeah.
they're never going to be able to sustain that, but they just
Yeah.
don't know yet.
I
They
feel
just
sorry for
don't know yet. Yeah,
same Mel, yeah. I'm like, oh, poor sweetie honey baby. No, don't do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
it's like a race to the bottom, and it's like, we shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing that. Like, we should be charging our value, the value
Yeah.
that we're offering to clients. It is a luxury. So sometimes clients will complain like, "Oh, it's so expensive, blah, blah, blah." But okay, like if you go back to 20 years ago in the industry, like back then, people weren't doing the cool nail art that people do now. Like back in the day, French tips were like the big thing, and that was the most exotic. But now we have all
Mm.
these like cool new products and services, and it's like,
Mm.
well, we now have to charge actually more. And I think also back
Yeah.
in the day, it was a lot more like there were less options. Now we have more.
Mm.
So you go to the experience that you want and need and make sure, yeah.
That just reminded me of something, Pat. I noticed I remember someone talking about this in a beauty forum, and like nail techs have it slightly harder than other beauty professionals because we're expected to stock so much choice. Like we're expected to have the new trend, and like I'm sure we're all guilty of having 5 different chromes that have only been used on one client each. Like all of this stuff that we buy because clients want to have the choice. And so that makes the whole like how much product do I use per service a little bit more difficult, because you're not only like you can't just measure out your base coat and your gel polish and all that kind of thing, because you're sort of outlaid a bit to have all of this choice to begin with. So when you're thinking about pricing, you need to like, okay, have I built in a new shiny fun things budget into my pricing as
Mm.
well, right? Because yeah, otherwise you're using your
mm,
wages
eating
to
into
buy
the
that
yeah.
and stuff.
Seems weird with nails. Like it's so acceptable when you go to the salon and get your hair done. You know it's going to be $200-300, and
Yeah,
you're totally okay with that.
yeah,
And other things too, lashes. You know it's going to be 100 and whatever dollars, but it seems to be nails. People still want it to be squished down to be
yeah,
cheap as it can
yeah,
be. Like if a
yeah.
hairdresser was charging half the price of any other hairdresser, they'd have no one because people would
No,
be like, "Ugh, not going
I
there."
yeah, I've had this conversation with my mother-in-law who is a hairdresser,
Yeah,
and she said she feels like nails are where hair was like 20 years ago, when they were literally like every salon was like just cuts, where they were just in out bums on seats kind of thing. And it's really changed. And I think we're seeing that with nails at the moment. I think we're seeing more like recognition of all of the amazing products and like expertise and chemistry and artistry that goes into our craft. And you're starting to see nail techs trying to like push that and be like, look at what we're doing. Nails is not the same as it was, you know,
Mm.
10, 20 years ago. We need to up our pricing to reflect that. Even like, like in the hair industry, you'll have distributors who come and visit every small home salon every month to show them new products and like do the ordering for them, like these incredibly well-traveled reps who come around and do that work because there's so much more like money coming into the industry, that
Mm.
the companies can afford to do that. And I would love to see the nail industry there. Would love to.
And that'd be so exciting.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great?
Mm.
Bringing us samples and like, all that stuff. It would be great.
That would be so good, and I would love to do
Hmm.
that. Just drive around and show people our
Yeah,
products
same.
and like do
Yeah,
little demos. How fun!
it'd
Can't
be
It'd be
wait
great
for
fun.
doing
everyone.
training.
That would be so fun. It
Yeah.
seems like lots of other industries do that. So maybe nails are just like my husband's a plumber. The reps will send him stuff to try, and if he doesn't use it, he sends it back. They don't charge him for it unless he
Yeah.
uses it. Like, why can't I have all the fun things? And then if I
Yeah.
don't use it, I'll send it back to you.
Well, it starts with, yeah, I mean, like it starts with us having enough money coming into our businesses to then pass on to the distributors. The distributors aren't serving customers directly. We're
Mm.
the thing and that's in the middle, right? I think I'm probably one of the higher price salons in my area anyway. And I'm still like, it'd be cool to like I still don't think I'm necessarily paying myself what I'm worth when I take into account all my business expenses. So I think there's a ways to go for sure. But I think we're on the way. I think it's happening.
Yeah. So not
Yeah.
undercharging is the first step to this
Yeah.
uprising of
Yeah.
nail tech.
I love
Yeah.
this talk about
Absolutely.
uprising. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we continue on with the podcast, we do just want to take a quick ad break to talk about the art of glitter. So, we're talking about artistry and the beauty and all of that. So, if you want to make a start on really upping your ability to work with glitter, then you should check out the Art of Glitter in the Art of Nail series at Monaco, which is only $15. In this module, we will cover glitter fades, glitter designs, full cover glitter nails. It includes a pre-recorded demo videos allowing you to see a demonstration from multiple angles up close and with the benefit of rewatching. This isn't just any old glitter fade video that you can get on YouTube. This is an hour of tuition covering every tip and trick we've learned over 10 years of experience. In an in-person class, this would be 6 to 8 hours, including your practice, and we aim to mimic this in-depth tuition by giving 7-day support and advice. And you can get this for the low cost of $15. And if you use one of our codes, you get 10% off on top of that. So our codes are, mine is Patsative.
Mine's Jungle Nails.
And mine is Becca.
The other thing to consider is that if we're regularly discounting or if we're regularly just keeping our prices super low for no reason, that can damage our reputation. It's kind of like as we were talking about, people advertising $20 nails on Facebook Marketplace. You'll look at that and you'll be like, do they even know what they're doing? Why are they charging so low? Whereas if you're charging more according to market price or the quality of your service, then people will be like, yeah, okay, they must be charging that for a reason. Also, if we discount regularly, then people will just wait until we advertise a discount, and discounting can devalue the brand. Like, I don't think Gucci ever discounts their stuff. Do they?
I don't believe so. I
If
don't know,
anything,
maybe.
it gets more expensive, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Also,
they give all that free product to influencers, right?
yeah, I mean maybe that's their way of devaluing jokes. But we also don't want to look desperate for clients, because if we're discounting so much, it's like, does that mean Pat doesn't have any clients? And why? Why is that? Is she like really shit or something? So we want to
Mm.
make sure that, yeah, we're thinking about how it also looks, how much we like. It communicates a message, how much we put our prices at. And I know we
Mm.
already talked about daily deal sites, but the people that go through deal site websites aren't usually looking for a new full price regular spot. So they're just going over there to see what vouchers are there. So, and then going and picking the next voucher, and they're just trying to go after deals. And I don't think those are the kinds of clients that we are trying to attract. And that's definitely not the kind of brand we want to have. Like, would we rather have three clients who are drawn in by a cheapie, or three people who, or just one who researched our work, got a recommendation, and then fit into their budget? Fit us
Mm.
into their budget. So they're actually paying the prices we want. And it's like
Mm.
so hard. So I'm just telling myself to be patient and also like be brave as I build my clientele.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like slow and steady wins the race though.
It did take me probably a year to be like fully booked, I would say.
That's not
And
bad.
even now, yeah, but even now, like there's a bit of a cycle, there'll be times when I'm quieter at the
Mm.
moment, talking about inflation and things like that. I'm probably quieter than I have been.
Mm.
So, just we're all, probably I'm feeling that, I would say. But I just think it's a race to the bottom, if you try and keep prices low to appease people's wallets. It really damages the industry as a whole because they'll expect that from everybody. And we're trying to do the opposite. We're trying to make it even more luxurious, and high price.
Yeah, I highly
Mm.
doubt Cardi B just pays $50 for her nails, right?
Yes, exactly.
She would be paying a lot of money for those really fantastic nails she has.
Absolutely. Hailey
Yeah.
Bieber and her glazed donuts say.
Yeah, it's good to see celebrities are starting to really value nails. It's not just about the hair. And it can really say a lot about people, the nails that you
Mm.
have, because it's like
Yeah,
your originality, your professionalism, or whatever. Like there's so many different
yeah.
things your nails can say. Um, yeah, and it is a luxury service. And with that, we are done and dusted. And before you go, just remember, like our page, follow the podcast, just sit tight for the next episode. We will be back next week. Okay, Mel, what are we covering next week?
Next week, we're talking about refunds. So that's going to be juicy, that one.
Ooh, refunds. Okay, everyone's favorite topic. Not, but we will have a good discussion. So join us next week. Until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Monaco Nail Academy or follow our salons. Mine is Pets of Beauty.
Mine's Jaguar Nails NZ.
And I am Nails by Becca NZ.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.